Beyond the last star, the day humanity met the others. It began with a silence that stretched across the world. People noticed first in the skies over the great cities, where satellites normally danced like tiny fireflies. One by one, the stars themselves seemed to blink out, leaving the heavens dim and unfamiliar. Astronomers scrambled, scientists theorized, and news anchors whispered into cameras about a phenomenon no one could explain. Humanity felt, for the first time in centuries, truly small. Then came the ships. Not like anything in movies, not the sleek triangles or metallic cylinders humanity had imagined. These were vast, organic in shape, shimmering as if made of liquid light. They moved in unison, hovering above the oceans, the deserts, the mountains. And wherever they appeared, the air itself seemed to hum, a deep resonance that felt almost alive. Dr. Elena Park, a leading astrophysicist at the International Space Observatory, watched in disbelief as one of the ships hovered directly over the observatory dome. Her hands shook on the controls of her instruments. She had spent her life searching for signs of life beyond Earth, but never had she imagined the day would come like this. "It's not just a probe," she whispered to herself. "It's them." Across the globe, reactions varied. Some people panicked. Religious leaders called it a divine test. Governments convened in secret emergency sessions. But what truly shook humanity was the silence from the others. No message, no weapons, no threat, only presence. They did not descend. They did not attack. They simply existed, hovering at the edge of comprehension, waiting. In New York, Raj Patel, a communications expert for the United Nations, watched the skies with his family from their apartment rooftop. "Do you think they understand us?" his young daughter asked, eyes wide. He had no answer. No one did. The world held its breath. Then, across the globe, something even stranger happened. The ships began projecting light, not random beams, but images. Not just holograms, but visions. People saw memories, histories, dreams of entire civilizations. Cities long gone, planets unknown, oceans that glowed under alien suns. It was as if the others were showing humanity the story of the universe, and in that story, Earth was a new chapter, fragile but remarkable. Dr. Park's instruments began to pick up signals, patterns of mathematics, music, and symbols embedded in light waves. The others were trying to communicate, but the message was not simple. It was layered, complex, and beautiful, and she knew humanity would have to work together to understand it. And then, the first contact began, not with words, but with thought. Dr. Park felt it in her mind. A presence, calm and infinite, speaking not to her ears, but to her consciousness. "We have watched. We have waited. Now, you may see us." Somewhere deep in the Amazon, a remote tribe saw the same ships. They did not fear. They knelt, feeling an ancient recognition, as if the others had been part of Earth's story all along. Humanity was being offered a choice, fear or understanding. As night fell over the world, billions stared at the sky. Humanity had crossed a threshold. The others were here, and the universe would never be the same. The next morning, the world awoke to a sky still filled with shimmering ships. They had not moved. They had not descended. They simply remained, silent and immense, like stars that had grown alive. Governments scrambled, military forces readied, and scientists everywhere debated the impossible. How do you speak to beings beyond human comprehension? Dr. Elena Park was summoned to a special session at the United Nations. Screens flickered with live images from every corner of the Earth, ships over the Sahara, the Pacific, the Arctic. Leaders argued in voices tense with fear and wonder. "They are observing us," one diplomat said. "Are we a threat to them?" Dr. Park shook her head. "I don't think they see us as enemies. Yet, they are teaching us, showing us. They want something, but we don't yet understand what." Communication was humanity's first true challenge. Every attempt to send messages, radio waves, light signals, even mathematical sequences, was met with subtle responses. The others did not speak like humans. They did not reply with words. Instead, the sky itself shifted in rhythm, colors forming patterns that were almost musical. Raj Patel was called to help. As a communications expert, he worked with mathematicians, linguists, and AI specialists to decode the signals. Days passed, and the world grew restless. Conspiracy theories spread. Some people prayed. Some rioted. But within the laboratories, teams worked tirelessly, hoping to bridge the gap between human and alien thought. Then, one night, it happened. Dr. Park, alone in the observatory, stared at the largest ship hovering above the city. The light patterns shifted again, but this time, she felt the message differently, as if the others were reaching directly into her mind. We have watched your world. We have watched your wars, your love, your hunger. You are young, fragile, and remarkable. Do you wish to see us? Her hands trembled as she recorded everything. She knew this was a test. A question not of words, but of trust. Humanity had to respond. Raj's team worked to create a signal that could convey intention, using mathematics and emotions encoded in light. It was simple, a pulse that meant, "We are ready to understand." When the signal was sent, the ships responded immediately. One of the largest vessels descended, not violently, but gently, its light softening as if breathing. Out of the ship emerged a presence, not solid, not entirely invisible. It shimmered, a being of light and thought, towering over the observatory grounds. Dr. Park and Raj could feel its presence directly in their minds. There were no eyes, no mouth, but the others did not need them. We are called the others. You are our first audience, our first hope beyond the stars. You have grown, struggled, and survived. Now, you must choose, fear us, or learn from us. News of the encounter spread instantly. Billions watched the sky through screens, witnessing the impossible. For the first time, humanity truly realized how small they were, but also how capable they could be. Fear and hope mingled across the globe. In a remote village in Siberia, a child laughed as the light washed over the snow. In Tokyo, a scientist wept. In Nairobi, a teacher told her students, "Look at the stars, they are not as distant as we thought." Humanity had a choice, and the others waited patiently, luminous and infinite. The first words had been exchanged, not through language, but through understanding. Dr. Park turned to Raj, her eyes wide. "This is just the beginning. We are not meeting them. We are becoming part of something larger, something we can't yet imagine." And above them, the sky shimmered with 1,000 colors, as if the universe itself had taken a breath and whispered, "Welcome to what lies beyond the last star." The world held its breath. After the first contact, humanity felt a mixture of awe and unease. Some called it a miracle, proof that life in the universe could be benevolent. Others called it a threat, something that might bring the end of human civilization. Fear spread faster than understanding. Dr. Elena Park and Raj Patel worked tirelessly with teams across continents. Every day, new patterns from the others arrived, encoded in light and resonance. Slowly, a language of thought emerged, mathematics intertwined with emotion, symbols that conveyed not just facts but feelings. Humanity began to understand, in small increments, the vast intelligence that had arrived. The others did not offer answers directly. Instead, they presented visions, snapshots of worlds they had observed, civilizations that had risen and fallen, stars that had been born and died. They showed humanity both the beauty and the danger of the universe. "We do not intervene," their message said in thoughts. "We observe. We guide when necessary. You have grown, but you are untested. Will you endure?" Some leaders rejected the others' presence outright. Military fleets were put on alert. Rumors spread of plans to attack, to force the others into submission. Dr. Park and Raj knew this would be disastrous. The others were not like anything humans had faced before. Violence would not work. Meanwhile, ordinary people began to change. Children dreamed of impossible places, painters captured visions they had never imagined, scientists proposed theories that had seemed fantasy before. Humanity was evolving in its perception, though not without resistance. In the United Nations headquarters, a tense council meeting debated the others' intentions. Ambassador Helen Wright spoke with urgency. "We cannot act recklessly. If we attack, we risk everything. But if we do nothing, we may be leaving our fate in unknown hands. How do we decide?" Dr. Park stood, her voice steady but filled with awe. "We must learn. Fear is natural, but it is not intelligence. The others are not enemies, they are teachers of a kind we cannot yet comprehend. If we reject them, we reject our chance to grow beyond this world." Not everyone agreed. Riots erupted in cities where misinformation spread. Some people claimed the others were harvesting human energy. Others worshipped them as gods. Humanity's response was fractured, reflecting both its brilliance and its chaos. Then came the first direct contact beyond visions. A smaller vessel descended near the Amazon rainforest, where scientists had set up a temporary observation post. Out stepped a being of light, its form shifting constantly, like liquid crystal. But this time, it communicated differently. "You fear what you do not understand," it said directly into the minds of those present. "You are young, yet your potential is vast. We show, we do not demand. Will you see with open hearts, or close your minds in fear?" Dr. Park felt a shiver of understanding. This was not just a test of intelligence, it was a test of humanity itself. The others were measuring more than knowledge. They were measuring choices, morality, empathy, and courage. Raj glanced at her. "They are not just observing us," he said quietly. "They are teaching us about ourselves." Above the Amazon, the ship pulsed with light, reflecting the rainforest below. Birds circled, as if drawn by the energy. Locals watched in wonder, their fear replaced by curiosity. For the first time, humanity felt connected, not just to the others, but to the planet itself, to the universe beyond, and to the fragile thread of existence that tied them all together. And somewhere deep in space, beyond the last star, countless worlds waited silently. Humanity had taken its first steps toward understanding, but the true journey, the one that would test courage, unity, and morality, was only beginning. Despite the warnings and messages, fear gripped parts of humanity. In major cities, rumors spread that the others were spies, invaders, or harvesters of human energy. Governments prepared defenses, military forces mobilized, and a tense standoff developed. The world teetered between wonder and panic. Dr. Elena Park and Raj Patel worked tirelessly to prevent catastrophe. They understood that communication required patience and empathy. But patience was a fragile commodity in a frightened world. The first misunderstanding came in Europe. A fleet of fighter jets approached a ship hovering over the Mediterranean. Pilots reported strange readings, energy fields that interfered with instruments. In a moment of panic, one jet fired a warning shot. The others did not retaliate. Instead, the ship's light shifted, dazzling and bright, then projected a vision across the sky. Europeans watched in awe as the image showed Earth's history, humans struggling, learning, and surviving countless disasters. The message was clear: violence would only close the path to understanding. Meanwhile, in a remote facility in South America, a small team of scientists and philosophers was granted a closer encounter. The others descended silently, their presence overwhelming yet peaceful. One of the beings reached out, not physically, but in thought. "You are ready to see more," it said. "Your minds are open. Your hearts are willing. We share knowledge, not dominance." Dr. Park felt a rush of understanding. Complex equations, maps of distant stars, insights into quantum phenomena, all flowed into her mind in an instant. She saw patterns in the universe she had never imagined, connections between life, energy, and consciousness. It was a gift and a responsibility. Raj struggled to comprehend. "How is this possible?" he whispered. "They're teaching us faster than we can process." "Your minds are capable," the other replied. "But remember, knowledge without wisdom is dangerous. You must choose how to use what you learn." Back in the cities, fear continued to flare. Some governments debated attacking outright. Citizens protested, demanding answers. The others' silent presence became a mirror, showing humanity its potential for both brilliance and destruction. Then came the first act of true connection. A young girl in Nairobi, Amora, approached a light that had descended near her school. She did not run. She reached out. The light touched her forehead, not physically, but through thought. Amora experienced visions of distant worlds, beings of all shapes and forms, and the interconnectedness of life across galaxies. When she returned to consciousness, she whispered, "They are not monsters. They are, like us, but larger, wiser." News of Amora's encounter spread, inspiring hope. Small groups around the world began to try connecting with the others in non-threatening ways, through art, music, and gestures of peace. Slowly, a bridge formed between fear and understanding. Above the cities, the others watched, patient and immense. And somewhere beyond the last star, the universe waited, holding secrets that only those ready to learn could ever hope to see. The world was changing, slowly but unmistakably. After the first encounters, humanity began to experiment with the knowledge the others shared. Scientists unlocked new forms of energy, physicians discovered ways to heal the body that had once seemed impossible, and engineers imagined technologies that could one day reach beyond the solar system. Dr. Elena Park and Raj Patel coordinated the global effort. Using specially designed communication devices that translated the others' light and thought patterns into human-understandable signals, small teams of researchers began what they called the Learning Initiative. We share knowledge, one of the others transmitted directly to Dr. Park. But learning is not only what you gain, it is what you do with it. Excitement spread in some regions, but fear festered in others. Military leaders, religious authorities, and politicians who could not trust the others argued that humanity was being manipulated. Propaganda campaigns painted the others as deceivers, sowing suspicion among the population. In the midst of this tension, Dr. Park met with a delegation of world leaders in Geneva. Ambassador Helen Wright voiced her concern. Elena, the others may be benevolent, but what if this knowledge is a trap? We cannot risk humanity's safety. Dr. Park replied firmly, Helen, fear has always been the enemy of progress. We cannot let it dictate our choices. This is our chance to grow, to see beyond ourselves. We must take it. Raj added, we have already seen the potential. The others are teaching us how to think differently, about energy, matter, even consciousness. But we must also learn how to control ourselves. Meanwhile, young Amara's story spread across the globe. She became a symbol of hope, inspiring children and adults alike to approach the others with curiosity rather than fear. Artists painted her image, musicians composed songs about her experience, and writers wrote about the possibilities of a universe larger than humanity had ever imagined. Yet, in some parts of the world, the fear turned to rebellion. Armed groups attempted to approach the ships with weapons, believing they could force the others to reveal their intentions. Every time, the others responded with calm demonstrations of power, vortexes of energy, fields of light, and visions showing what destructive actions could bring. No one was harmed, but the message was clear: humanity could not impose its will through force. Within the Learning Initiative, progress was astonishing. Dr. Park and her team began to understand patterns in the others' knowledge that hinted at the nature of life across galaxies. They learned that civilizations rarely survived their own conflicts, that cooperation and empathy were keys to longevity, and that energy and consciousness were far more interconnected than humanity had ever imagined. The others, however, remained distant in one crucial sense. They did not interfere directly in politics or personal decisions. They did not choose favorites. Their goal was not to rule, but to observe, guide, and challenge humanity's capacity for growth. One night, Dr. Park and Raj stood on the observatory's roof, looking at the largest ship hovering above the horizon. Do you ever wonder, Raj asked quietly, why they chose now? Why reveal themselves to us after all this time? Dr. Park considered. Maybe we were ready, or maybe the universe decided it was time to see if we could be ready. They aren't testing weapons or cities. They are testing who we are, together and apart. Above them, the others' light pulsed gently, almost as if in agreement. Humanity had begun to learn, but the lesson was only beginning. Trust had to be earned, fear had to be overcome, and the choices made in the coming days would shape not only Earth but the destiny of humankind among the stars. The world had made progress, but fear and misunderstanding still ran deep. Nations were divided between those eager to embrace the other's knowledge and those determined to resist it. And then the test came, not from the others directly, but from humanity itself. It began with a natural disaster, amplified in scale beyond anything ever recorded. A massive earthquake struck the Pacific Rim, followed by volcanic eruptions and tsunamis that threatened millions. Communication networks failed, cities were devastated, and humanity faced chaos on a scale that no one could control alone. Dr. Elena Park watched the news in horror. We've spent months learning, studying, preparing, she said to Raj, and now nature is showing us we're still fragile. The others did not intervene physically. Their ships hovered silently above the planet, observing as humans scrambled to respond. But then, subtly, they began sending light-based signals to areas where help was needed most, guiding ships, pointing out safe zones, and transmitting vital information about structural weaknesses and natural hazards. Raj realized the significance. They are not saving us, he said. They are teaching us to save ourselves, together. Emergency response teams coordinated using the signals, while local communities organized aid with newfound efficiency. Strangers helped strangers, nations shared resources, and for the first time, many people felt the connection to the planet and to each other that the others had been demonstrating. But not all responded with unity. Some groups hoarded supplies, others attacked relief teams, And in the political sphere, leaders blamed each other for failures. Humanity's flaws were exposed, yet so was its potential. Amara, now recognized worldwide, led a volunteer group to help children in the hardest-hit areas. She communicated with the others in thought, receiving subtle guidance that allowed her team to reach those most in danger. People began to understand that cooperation, empathy, and trust were the keys to survival. In Geneva, Dr. Park addressed world leaders via a secure transmission. This is the moment we have been preparing for, not with science alone, but with understanding, empathy, and courage. The others are showing us a way to act wisely. If we fail this test, it will not be because of them. It will be because we failed each other. The others' message came across the sky that night, not as light patterns but as a pulse felt across the globe: observe, learn, act. You are ready to choose who you become. By the next morning, the immediate danger had passed. Humanity had survived, not because the others intervened directly, but because humans worked together, guided subtly by the wisdom offered. The lesson was clear: survival depended not on power or fear, but on collaboration, understanding, and respect for life itself. Dr. Park stood with Raj, looking at the sky. The largest ship hovered silently above the observatory. "They've shown us what matters," she said softly. "Not just knowledge, but how we use it, how we live it." Raj nodded. "And if we remember this lesson, maybe we can finally take the next step. Beyond the stars, beyond the fear, beyond the limits we've always believed we had." Above Earth, the others pulsed in quiet acknowledgement. Humanity had faced its first true trial and survived, not perfectly, but with enough wisdom and unity to take the next step in its evolution. The others' presence was no longer just a mystery. It had become a guide, a challenge, and a mirror reflecting what humanity could become. Months had passed since the first arrival. Humanity had learned, struggled, and grown. The others had guided them not with words, but with visions, knowledge, and subtle influence. Yet many questions remained unanswered. Why now? Why Earth? Why humanity? Dr. Elena Park and Raj Patel worked tirelessly to interpret the most recent signals. This time, the others' communication was different, clearer, more intentional. It was not just teaching, it was explanation. "We are the observers," the message began in their minds. "Across the universe, life struggles to survive. We do not intervene lightly. Some species destroy themselves before understanding the universe. Others learn to thrive. You have been given the chance to learn, not just science, but wisdom." Dr. Park felt a chill. "They've been watching us all along," she whispered to Raj. "From the beginning, they've been testing humanity's capacity to grow beyond violence and fear." Raj nodded. "And now they are showing us what comes next, the real choice." The others projected images into the sky worldwide. Humanity saw planets rich with life, civilizations that had flourished, and others that had fallen to greed, conflict, or indifference. Then, they showed Earth's potential future, a world where humans lived in harmony with each other and with the planet, reaching out to the stars, or a world torn apart by fear, conflict, and neglect, unable to survive the challenges ahead. Amara, standing before a crowd in Nairobi, felt the others' thoughts directly. "Your species stands at the edge. The choice is yours. Will you embrace understanding, unity, and growth? Or will you cling to fear, division, and destruction?" Global leaders convened once again, this time with urgency. The others' message left no room for hesitation. Diplomatic divisions, political arguments, and military posturing had to be set aside. Humanity needed to act collectively. Dr. Park addressed the world in a broadcast that reached every screen and every city. "We have been given a rare opportunity. The others have not come to conquer us, to judge us, or to impose their will. They have come to guide us, to show us what is possible if we choose wisely. The future is not written. It is ours to shape." In laboratories, schools, and homes, people began to cooperate on a scale never seen before. Conflicts paused. Resources were shared. Knowledge and ideas spread freely. Humanity, for the first time, experienced unity born not of fear, but of understanding. The others observed silently, their immense presence shimmering above every continent. They were not benevolent rulers. They were mirrors, reflecting humanity's strengths and weaknesses, its capacity for compassion and wisdom. Dr. Park felt the others' thoughts once more. "You have learned to listen, to understand, to care. You have begun to see yourselves as more than a single species fighting for survival. Now, the final test awaits, not of knowledge, but of choice. Above the observatory, the largest ship pulsed with light, brighter than ever before. The message was clear: humanity's fate rested in its own hands. It could rise, guided by the lessons of the others, or fall, consumed by its old fears. Raj put a hand on Dr. Park's shoulder. "This is it," he said. "The moment that defines who we are. What we do now will echo across the universe." Dr. Park nodded. "And whatever happens, we must act as one species. Because the others have shown us that the universe does not forgive division." As night fell over the world, billions gazed at the sky. For the first time, humanity understood that the others' arrival was not an end, and not even a beginning, but a bridge. A bridge to a future that reached beyond the last star, into possibilities humanity had never dreamed of. And in that shared silence, a choice was forming. A choice that would determine whether humanity could step into the universe as a species ready for life beyond Earth. The world waited, tense and silent. Humanity had been tested, guided, and challenged. Now the moment of choice had arrived. Every individual, every community, every nation felt the weight of the other's presence above. Dr. Elena Park and Raj Patel stood at the observatory, gazing at the largest ship hovering in the sky. The light shimmered in patterns that conveyed patience, encouragement, and expectation. Humanity's destiny was not dictated by force, but by collective action. The other's message came into minds worldwide, simultaneously, uniting billions in thought. You have learned. You have faced fear, conflict, and misunderstanding. Now, show that you can act as one species. Will you rise together or fall divided? Across the globe, ordinary people became extraordinary. Communities shared knowledge, resources, and ideas. Scientists collaborated across borders. Cities sent relief to the most vulnerable. Strangers protected strangers. In every act, humanity demonstrated its capacity for empathy, courage, and wisdom. Dr. Park felt a surge of hope as she observed the planet. Even amid fear, hatred, and chaos, people had chosen cooperation. The ripple of understanding spread like sunlight breaking through clouds. Raj turned to her. "We've done it. Not perfectly, but we've chosen, together." The other's light pulsed, bathing Earth in brilliance. This was not just illumination, it was acknowledgement, a reflection of humanity stepping into a larger understanding. And then the sky changed. Patterns of light formed new stars, constellations that had never been seen. Humanity realized that the others were showing them the first maps of other civilizations, other worlds ready to be explored, other futures waiting for those brave enough to reach beyond. Amara, standing before a crowd of children, whispered, "We can go beyond. We can reach the stars." Leaders, scientists, and ordinary citizens felt a connection deeper than any border, language, or ideology. Humanity had learned the greatest lesson of all. The universe was vast, life was rare, and the most powerful force was understanding, compassion, and unity. The others did not speak further. They did not descend or rule. They had done what they came to do. Humanity had chosen wisely. They were ready. Dr. Park looked at Raj, tears in her eyes. "We are not alone," she said. "We never were. And now, we finally know it." Across the globe, people gazed at the sky, feeling the presence of the others one last time. The ships began to ascend, fading into the distance, leaving a sky filled with stars that seemed closer, brighter, and alive with possibility. In the silence that followed, humanity understood. The universe was no longer a mystery to fear, but a horizon to reach for. The others had left, but their gift remained, the knowledge that humanity could rise, together, beyond the last star. And as Earth turned beneath a sky of infinite potential, a new era began. A time of exploration, understanding, and the promise that one day, humans might meet the others again, not as students, but as equals. The stars shone. Humanity had chosen wisely. And the journey beyond had only just begun.